All right. Hello, everyone. Uh, Whoever it is, maybe it's not everyone. Hello to you, whoever you are that may be watching this. No, not everyone is going to be watching this. So it's a silly thing to say. Uh, so I'm making this video to let people know that Journey Home Meditation will no longer be um, broadcasting regularly from Facebook, from my personal Facebook, um, that some of you maybe tune into occasionally when the live stream comes across your feed, because I am going to be deleting my Facebook accounts um, permanently. So um, I wanted to address some of the reasons why that is before I go, because this is not just for my personal health and well-being. I'm taking a break. I've done that in the past, and it's really, really helpful. It's been amazing in the times that I've taken breaks. Um, but there's a lot that's going into it this time, and I'm sure that we're all aware of what's been happening in the United States and politically speaking. And in many ways, it is happening on levels that are unprecedented. And so it's causing me to reassess where I put my attention and where I put my devotion. Um, I've known many of you for decades and decades. And in that time, you have seen many different expressions of me searching for um, belonging or finding the most honest expression at the time that I had, and that put me through a lot of different communities of political resistance over the years. I've held some pretty strong anarchist beliefs in my life for the last 30 years or so, and I am grateful for all of those years of being able to have a part of my identity and my understanding be one who attempts to lead with compassion and empathy and um, fighting for those who are given the least amount of privilege or the least amount of position of agency in our country. And I've done a lot of political shit talking on Facebook over the years. Some of you are very well aware. And I've always been able to excuse what I understand to be an inherently um, flawed at best and nefarious at worst platform for communication, because I thought that if the message were good, then it doesn't matter what the platform is. We are here to turn the tides. Um, and there's still a part of me that does hold that it's good to hold space in even in nefarious conditions to keep inserting love into the dialogue, inserting resistance to fascism and to tyranny into the dialogue. I think that's a very important and sometimes even noble thing to do. But after this last election, when I saw Mark Zuckerberg standing on the dais with the other gods of the modern Olympus, um, I had to face a few of my own internal battles and have come to understand for myself that not only is this platform engineered to make us off balance, its entire programming and everything that goes into the thoughts behind how to create and manipulate this platform is to create and manipulate a population. But above and beyond that, the person who is profiting from that and who is responsible for that is clearly standing behind one of the most evil empires that I've ever been aware of. And this is not a post to encourage political debate on this post. You can if you'd like, but I'm not concerned. What is concerning to me is that I have been utilizing the things that I hold dear, the things that I love, the things that I work towards, the craft that I hone, the skills that I work on that I have built over years of practice and of study. I'm using those to benefit that. And that's something I can no longer reckon by staying on this platform. This is not an encouragement to anyone else. You make your choices. There's no judgment, but I can no longer participate as I can no longer rationalize my participation with this format. I do understand that this is a place that is a lifeline for many of us. Many people come onto social media and Facebook in particular because it is a lifeline. It is a way that you can connect with people that you love, that you can connect with ideas that you love. You can share your victories and your losses. You can grieve together. You can worship together. I've sat in many kirtan through Facebook Live. I've heard many Dharma talks through Facebook Live. There's a lot of things that I've done that have felt really beneficial to me. And I hope that in some ways I have been beneficial to the conversations at times through Facebook. But it's come to a point in my life where I need to recognize my capacity. And in recognizing my capacity, I have to also understand that one of the things that I have to give is attention. And it's a very important thing to give. It's a sacred thing to give. And I'm recognizing more in my life that I am paying a lot of attention to my phone, my screen, my scrolling. I'm paying attention to the feed. And if I'm paying attention to a feed, what is it feeding me? And if I'm taking this in willfully, I am giving permission to imbibe this platform into my being. And I just don't want to be a devotee of that dynamic any longer. Mary Oliver is one of my favorite poets, and because of that is one of my favorite teachers. And Mary Oliver said that attention is the beginning of devotion. So where I give my attention is where I place my devotion. And a simple click through a few buttons on my Facebook app tells me that I spend upwards of 3-4 hours a day sometimes on Facebook. And my mind is rationalizing this as I am spending that time with my friends. But the truth is, I am a lonely person who does not spend much time in the real world with my friends. But I trick myself into thinking I'm spending time with my friends because I'm doing it through Facebook. And it's like getting saccharin in place of honey. The sweetness of relationships when we can face one another, the sweetness of the relationship when we can talk to one another and share a voice through the phone, the sweetness of writing a letter or receiving a letter has been replaced by the saccharin of up to the moment updates throughout the day to one another. And for me, I can't continue to place my devotion there. I do believe that without going too deep into conspiracy theories, that there is a nefarious thought behind this social engineering project that's taken place with social media. It's no longer in the hands of us. It's not, maybe it never was in the hands of the people. I am not above or beyond being programmed, and neither are you. None of us are. None of us are above or beyond a skillful programmer. Can program the way you literally see the world, the way that we think. And my view of the world through a screen in my hand is a prepackaged, predestined outcome for how I live in this world. And I need to turn that off. And the other truth is that I do have a deep love and appreciation for some of the things that I receive with this exchange of giving my soul to Devil Zuckerberg and the advertising campaigns. I do really enjoy the connections that we do make on here. But I'm also starting to do some deeper work in my meditation practice where I'm beginning to understand really the depth of codependency that exists within my body. I'm holding this codependency, this really clever desire for attention that masks itself as reciprocal love. Right? I am convincing myself that this is what love looks like when I am really just feeding this hungry ghost that craves attention, because attention equals devotion. And if people are giving me attention, it's because they love me. And if I'm giving them attention, it's because I love them. But I'm understanding now, the more work that I do, that this isn't necessarily what love is. And this isn't necessarily the case. And this isn't necessarily the attention that we're seeking. Like I said, it seems like a saccharine replacement for a honey sweet love. And saccharin is poison. Saccharin causes cancers. Saccharin kills us. Saccharin is a trick that's being played in our body that makes us think that we're taking in something that healthful, something that contains calories to give us life affirming energy. And there's nothing there for us. It just deneutrifies us. And that's what I'm experiencing with this social media experiment. So I'm leaving, and it's difficult, and I'm not going to pretend that it's not. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, this doesn't matter to me, because I've been able to maintain friendships for decades through this platform. I've been able to reconnect with people that I love deeply because of this platform. I was able to connect with an entire family that I never even knew existed in my life, in my blood, in my DNA, through this platform. And I have gratitude for that. This is not a lack of gratitude. This is an abundance of gratitude that is taking me out of this machine for now. I don't plan to come back to any meta platform. I have transitioned Journey Home Meditation over to Substack, which I find to be a much slower platform that is much more interested collectively in sharing ideas instead of feeding biases, sharing passions and art and creative expressions with one another in a slow way that we can hear one another speak. And there's not the rumble and noise of 300 things bombarding us at once. We just take our time. We share with one another. We are shared with by one another. I'm not selling this as a utopian community, but there is a benefit to slowing down the information cycle. Information is not knowledge. Information is not wisdom, and information is certainly not love. Information is just shadows and light and sounds. That's all it is. And it's creative in different ways to cast the shadow on the wall of the cave, but it's just information. We take that information and we find the nutrients in it and we filter out the rest. But when we have a program that's doing that for us, that's filtering out things that it does not want us to hear or see or take into our lives, when it's feeding us the things that it knows it's going to receive an emotional reaction from, we have to question whether or not we're actually being fed by the feed. And I've questioned that, and I've come to my conclusion. And I wanted to make this video out of a love and respect and gratitude for each of my relationships on this platform. I know that there's a lot of people that are going to say, you don't have to say goodbye. You can just leave. Okay, cool. But I do want to say goodbye. I do want to tell you all that even in the darkest of ways that this platform has been terribly detrimental to our cultures and to our country and to our world, I have really appreciated and loved the affection that I receive from each of you, the birthday messages, the check-ins. I've loved seeing children grow up from afar. I've loved being with you in your losses and in having you with me in mine. I have a lot of love and gratitude for the connections that I've made here. And that is meaningful to me. So I wanted to give that space. But I don't want to give away the love that I have with you and the love that I share with you to those machines of exploitation and division any longer. So my email account is journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com. You can email me there. If you don't have my phone number, I'll give it to you there. My messenger will be alive still for another 2 weeks while I wrap up a couple of connections that I only have had through there. So you can still message me information through Messenger while I go through the process of downloading photographs and videos and all of these things of my children literally grew up on this platform for you. You know, we share our pictures with our family, and there's a lot of photographs and videos of my family that only exist here that I want to try to salvage from this before I delete the account. So I'm going to deactivate the account tonight. And please reach out to me, journeyhomemeditation@gmail.com, or if you have my phone number, send me a text. I'd love to stay connected, and let's try the experiment of connecting without mediation. Let's connect through letters. Let's connect through phone calls, even text messages. But I don't want to have anybody eliciting the information of love from our conversations and using it as a way to sell information, to profit from war, devastation, genocide. There just comes a point where we have to say, I don't want that any longer. And that's where I'm at. I don't want this any longer. But I'm here now on this beautiful spring day in Tucson, Arizona, visiting family and visiting friends and reconnecting with dear ones that I haven't seen in years. I just connected yesterday with a friend that I haven't seen in over 2 decades that I found on Facebook. So the irony here is not lost. I get it. And I get the benefits. But it's time that I benefit slowing down and divert my attention, which is my devotion, to the things that I feel are worthy of my devotion. So thank you all. I love you all. I truly do. Even the arguments that we have on here and the misunderstood jokes and all of it, I love it. And I love you all very much. Please reach out to me if you'd like. Okay. Goodbye, friends.